keys to the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the mazes. JJ's cryptic corner, where the coins keep turning. Log in now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow, crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Happy Wednesday. How's everyone doing today? Guys, hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? If you can guess where I am right now before the end of the stream, I will give you $10. $10 if you can guess where I am. What's going on, Tom Selleck, Scout, Reese? Last Zabak unlock on Sunday. Now staking 5 million in super app, 6 months, 7%. Very nice. Okay. Poll in the chat. With the current private credit situation worsening, will we see a repeat of 2008? No, government won't let it happen. Yes, it's unavoidable at this point. No, that's why we're at war right now. Or yes, this is all part of the plan. Let me know what you guys think. Let's see. Bitcoin. $70,220 and $230.77. So far, weirdly following the fractal. We'll see if this deviation turns into anything of concern. At the moment, though, we're above 70K, which is very nice. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see where we're at. Guys, don't forget to smash the like button on your way in. Let me know what you guys think in the poll as well in the chat. Up top, 70,886. Whoopsie. 70,886, 70,886, and the top of the top, we've got, I'm going to go all the way up, 74,067. Crypto Spaces said, Sailor buying Bitcoin again? Hell yeah. Anybody that just arrived, if you can guess where I am before the end of the stream, you get $10. One person gets $10, not everyone that guesses. One person gets $10. I will reveal it at the end of the stream if nobody is able to guess it. It is topical, though. It is very, very topical. There are hints in the title. There are hints in the description. There are hints in the poll. I guess bottom might not be as low as people think. Crypto Spaces said. Maybe. New record in his holdings. Dude, Sailor buying so much is hilarious to me because people are like, where's the money gonna come from? And he's like, bet money. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, there's so much money. It's really funny. All right. 70,009. 70,009. And the bottom of the bottom, we've got, I'm going to go all the way to the bottom, 67,211. All right, there's our liquidation heat map points of concern. As of right now, we're above 70K, like I said. I'm excited about that. kind of dilly-dallying around the moving average on the RSI. Red dot on the momentum wave on market cipher, pointing to the downside. We'll see where that goes. Dominance, 59.27, seemingly rejecting 59.5. So we got an initial rejection up here at 59.8. We got a attempted support bounce at 59, failed, and then we got a bounce at like 58.7. And then we rejected 59.5, and now we're sitting at 59.27. Are we going to lose 59 next, or what's going to happen? Because it does seem like we are setting up for just like a continuation to the downside. But a wedge could be a bullish scenario if we do get some kind of wedge structure here. I don't know if that really applies to dominance, but we'll keep an eye on it. What's going on? 88 Metals Mania. Again, I'm going to reiterate every few minutes, if you guys can guess where I am. Whoever can guess where I am wins $10. Before the end of the stream, I will reveal it at the end of the stream if nobody else can guess. The hints are in the title, the hints are in the current poll, and the hints are in the description. You aren't the headquarters of Blue Owl Capital. No. But that is a great guess. Okay. Let's see, continuing. ETH up 0.19%, currently trading at $2,055.95. Looking good. We got like a double top rejection at what seems like 2,075, just below 2,100. Are we going to hold above 2K and continue to the upside? That's our hope. That would be ideal. We are bouncing off of the moving average and the RSI. That's a good sign. Yeah, I want to see continuation of the upside on ETH. We got a green dot of the momentum wave, point of the upside. Volume could be a little bit better, considering it's Wednesday and we have such low volume. I guess that's a mild concern. Solana's up 0.16. HQZ said, hey, JJ, so what happened? What do you mean what happened? I need more context. Tom Selleck said Apollo Global Management. No. Now, spamming is also going to be mildly discouraged. I'm not on the island, no. That's a funny guess, though. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad guess either. Considering what we've learned. That guy is affiliated with pretty much everybody, which is crazy. Cheers, guys. Happy Wednesday. Poll in the chat. Please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Solana, $86.70. We're above 85, which is acting like something of a psychological level, I suppose. I'm glad that we're holding above 80, but we're well above 80. Nothing really going on here. It's kind of just blindly following ETH, it seems. Yeah. So we'll see what occurs with both. Total 3 is up 0.09. 717 billion. We're still above 700, which is ideal. Can we break above 720? We're struggling with that. We got rejection 1, 2. Hopefully we get a break. I don't know. We're increasing, which is good, but what's it going to take? ADA is currently trading at 26.22, down 0.11%. We are at the October 10th Binance Wick location, 26.22. HQZ said, what happened with the private credit cracks? That'll be in the news segment. There are just more issues with private credit, like Blue Owl brokers, and everyone's basically like, well, you can't take out as much money as you want because we don't have that much money because no one's paying back their loans. It's like 2008 all over again, man. It's very slowly happening, but it's kind of quickly happening. Are you in a bank? That is too vague, and I think no. Tom Selleck said, okay, my last guess, Blackstone HQ. No, that is not Blackstone HQ. Snack down 0.56, 0.00514. As long as we hold above 5, I'll be happy here. I keep doing that, though. I'm moving the goalposts. I'm sad that we're below 6, so I'm going to act like 5 is my next number. Midnight. This one kind of cracked me up. Guys, Midnight got listed on Binance. Yay! And guess what happened? No joke. Cannot make this up. I don't even know. Does this warrant tinfoil? Midnight got listed on Binance, and I'm not even joking. Insta-dumped. Hard. This thing, they were like, Midnight listed on Binance, and it went boom. Like a violent swing to the downside. Anyone that was standing in the way of this, it potentially had their limbs removed by the amount of G-forces that they were hit with. in this dump. So midnight. What is that? 20%? Jeez. Okay, 17. Wow. So Binance listed midnight. The first Cardano native listed on Binance. Very cool. Thank you, CZ. He's richer than Bill Gates now. Very cool. I love CZ and Binance. They're definitely not scamming people. Please help me. Help me. I need help. Send help. Okay, let's move on. So yeah, Binance listed midnight. That actually happened. That's not a joke. Allegedly, Binance people were like airdropped midnight or something. I don't know, man. It seems a little sus to me. Apparently, he's not richer. Oh well, and I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me if Bill Gates lost a little bit of money when he got exposed as a participant, an island participant. XRP down 0.25% on the day, currently trading at $1.38. Slowly working its way down, 138.12. I guess very slowly. We're still in this sideways channel in between 134 and 150. Crypto Spaces said he's suing Wall Street Journal for the article. Really? That's really funny. HQZ said, I read that you need to have at least 4 layers of foil to be effective. Oh, there's definitely more than one. I don't know how many there are, though. That's actually a good question. What constitutes a layer of foil? Like, what thickness? I need a specific thickness for what is considered a layer of foil. Okay. We got 5 votes so far on the poll in the chat. We do have 2 tied items, so we need a few more votes in there. Blink twice if you're okay. I've been blinking this whole time. Been blinking Morse code. I've actually been blinking the answer to where I am this whole time. Tom Salkscoat said, we call them island boys. Bill Gates and is an island boy. He's an island boy. Dude, I feel so bad for the island boys. Like, they're kind of derpy to begin with, but 88 Metals Mania said, how many millimeter? I thought that said how many market maker. Okay. That's really funny that he's suing Wall Street Journal for that. I didn't know that's what that was for. I thought he was suing them for defamation. Is that defamation, saying that you have money? The judge is going to throw that in his face. Sir, please get the hell out of my courtroom. The Wall Street Journal said you had money? He's like, well, I don't want to pay taxes, so I don't have any of that money. I'm actually poor. Okay. God, why can't he be like a scummy white guy? I can't even make fun of him because I'll be racist if I make fun of him. Crypto Spaces said, yeah, on his account, he said it's bad reporting because people were saying, how is his net worth going up when crypto is going down? Oh, so now now people are even more suspicious. My favorite thing so far is Binance and the Athena USD stablecoin depegging, which caused the October 10th liquidations, and them coming out and being like, we're so sorry, something broke, and we're giving people money, $384 million. And then everyone's like, did Binance cause this? And they're like, no. What? There was a problem on our end, and we fixed it, and we paid people back. And everyone's like, but that problem led to other problems elsewhere, where, like, you're being paid for the information that was bad, that was, caused those problems. And they're like, we did not cause those liquidations or any of these problems. And our paying back of people is not us admitting guilt in any way, shape, or form. We just felt like paying those people money. It had nothing to do with guilt. I think it's another people call him out situation. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm going to get in trouble. But I think that they need to be looked at a little bit closer. I do. And if they got nothing to hide, then sure, great, cool. But it seems like they got some stuff to hide. He's a little too on edge for me. Anyways, XRP support here at 134 is still super interesting to me. It's such an arbitrary number. It really seems like February 1st, we just kind of went into this weird limbo mode where the entire market looks exactly like this, and no one really knows what to make of it. I'm going to fast track the rest of these. H-bar at the bottom of the range, SWI at the top of the range or near the top of the range, Ondo in the middle-ish, closer to the bottom, Arrow, middle, Polkadot, Polkadot is the only one that looks different. Polkadot looks great. Still $1.50. Avalanche, top of the range. Chainlink, middle of the ascending channel. And Doge, bottom. I think I'm going to start buying some Polkadot. I don't remember who it was. Somebody mentioned a while ago when we were talking about the stablecoin yield ban that is probably going to go through for the Clarity Act, and how yield-bearing altcoins will probably be like the next popular thing, because people that are earning yield on their stablecoins, if they're not allowed to do that anymore, they're probably going to pivot to the next thing that they can earn yield on. Or even if the Clarity Act gets signed into law, then maybe banks and big money institutions will take advantage of this yield that these other like altcoins offer. So Polkadot offers pretty high yield. The only downside is their token price, but if their token price is pretty much bottomed, not a bad idea to accumulate some, in my opinion. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. Crypto Spaces said, I mean, if he helps Sailor buy Bitcoin, he can scam, but at this pace, nobody will want to be in crypto. Exactly. I see tweets saying it's like 50 people left in crypto, LOL. There are like 50 people left. I believe that. I really do. Pickle Rick said, what's up, fellas? Overtime time, all the time? Hell yeah. That's what you got to do, man. You got to focus on what you can control. Maximize your input, and then you can maximize your output. Maximize your DCA. Again, I'm going to reiterate, anyone that can guess where I am will win $10 before the end of the stream. I will reveal it at the end of the stream. If nobody can guess, hints are in the current poll. Hints are in the title. Hints are in the description. All right. Gold down 0.41, 51.54. Yeah, we're in a little purgatory range still, in between 5,050 and 5,200. We got to get above 5,200 and start to show them who's boss. But for now, we're holding above 5K, so I'm happy. Silver, on the other hand, silver did really good back here. I really like this fudgy symmetrical triangle. We did a fake out of the downside, break out to the upside, and we have officially lost pretty much all of that momentum. We're sitting at 85.46 right now. I guess if we can hold 85, that'd be cool. I like this wick. I want to see some upside. But so far, we're just kind of lingering in the same price, man. Same exact price. We almost did it. We almost did the inverse bar. We got about half. We got inverse B, and then we went. So I don't know where it's going to go from here, but we're going to continue to keep an eye on it. DXY up 0.15. Ooh, we got a gap to the upside, 99.4. For some reason, this thing, it won't die. it exploded bullish out of this bear pennant, and then we've been ranging in between 99.5 and 98.75. Are we going to break above 99.6 with conviction and eventually touch 100? Probably, but I don't know when it's going to happen. But Van said, yes, we were talking about that the other day. You remember. Oh, I've been talking about it every other... If that's you, then hell yeah, dude. I've been talking about that every other day on stream. Crypto Spaces said, are you seeing that chart going around with the 2022 fractal bear flag? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's... We've looked at that one as well. Hang on. Let me finish going through the stock segment really quick. Dow Jones Industrial, 47,414. So, again, if you are a criminal... you will probably go to prison because the Dow is no longer 50,000. Nasdaq up 0.01. We are setting up for a potential BART or a Marge if you're going to be semantic on the curvature. With that, the fractal is calling for further downside with this little pump. So if we do pull back, see, it might get violent tomorrow, man. This might be the violent move that spawns the fractal, which would be scary. I like being the fractal Farquad, but not like this. not like this. Let's see if anyone can help us. Can the money printer save us? I don't know. 24,761. Yeah, support would be like 20K. S&P down 0.08. This thing's struggling. Yeah, it's starting to break down, man. I think we're gonna get spicy. I do. I want to be wrong. Don't quote me on any of this. I'm not a financial advisor. I got a little bit of sun today, can you tell? and it was like crappy out. I don't know how I got sun. It was literally raining all day. I was like in a garage. Um, it's looking like it might get a little spicy. Nvidia 0.68 in the green, looking for a W. If everything pulls back though, Nvidia's probably not going to be immune. Same with Tesla, 404. Are we going to hold above 400? We're struggling, but we'll see. Well, Ben thinks no bottom yet. MicroStrategy, aka Big B Coffee, in case you guys are not aware, the reason I call it Big B Coffee is because the logo was designed by the same guy. They use the exact same RGB numbers as the Big B Coffee orange. Don't quote me on that. It might be a little bit different. But 136.77 back below 140. We're still struggling. Kind of forming a, I don't know, what is this? A bear pennant? Bearish, an ascending wedge? I don't know. Probably going to break down. Also, people think a drop in SPX. It does. So the SPX drop, I think, is going to be the main factor. Because we've seen this before. Hang on. Let me. I want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of. We've been cleaning the charts up, and it's been really nice. Because for some reason, you guys allowed me to become like a chart hoarder. So let's see. Previous breakdowns obviously are around 20%. We had one early 2025, February to April. We're out of February. We might go March to May. I don't know how deep of a pullback it would be, but yeah, man, I don't know. This current setup that we have right now with this weird, like, lingering sideways rollover, we've seen it before, and it's this. It's that exact same move, and it happens pretty much every single time we break down. There's hesitance, there's indecisiveness, the market chops for a considerable period of time, and then eventually one brick crumbles and the rest falls apart. Everybody panic sells, and we get a 20% or more pullback. Tom Scout said, "You are at Big V Coffee," but turns out it's actually Sailor's house. I took a picture at the let me hold on. Let me pull it up. I'm pretty proud of that. The Big B Coffee selfie. Or I mean the strategy headquarters. I took a picture. I took a selfie at the strategy headquarters. Bam. Strategy headquarters. Michael Saylor was not on the premises. They said he called in sick for that shift. So pretty cool stuff. Right down the road. Right down the road. Because oil going up, can we look at LAK3, please? It's a water RWA token. I think water will be the next gold. These guys are legit, but not sure how long it will take to catch in onto retail. Also said, yeah, if that's the case for SPX, more downside incoming. Yeah, I think we're teetering on the edge, which is what's scary. Okay, you said LAK3. USD, this is crypto. This thing is not this, right? I hope it's not this. Do I gotta go to, maybe I gotta go to, that, it just looks like Bitcoin. I just realized, I just went back to the Bitcoin chart and it looks like exactly the same. It's like, I hope it's not this. Meanwhile, Bitcoin looks identical. Oh, I think it is that. Okay, it's up 21.39% for the day. What's going on with that big chart, though? That's a little spooky. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Official cryptocurrency partner of wolves. I don't know who those people are. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like anything that goes from $1, $2 down to 0.8 of a cent. It's a little spooky to me. You never know, though. They need a bigger market cap, need more liquidity for sure. That liquidity is awful. If it's a gamble, then I mean the holders isn't bad. This is pretty awful. They're not even enough liquidity to support that. But these are all contracts, either locks, like time locks or something. I don't know. The potential's there as far as holders goes. Everything else, not too hot though on the metric side. Yeah, I don't know. Just make sure you check into everything. Go security, quick intel, all flagging it for suspicious activity. Microcap. Okay. Bitcoin 69 at 924 and 74 cents. Again, we might go down. We might be due for some pretty hefty downside. I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm just going to prepare accordingly. If that does happen, you know, I'm not going to be caught off guard. I'm probably going to be a little bit butthurt about it, but I'm not going to be caught off guard. Gold and silver, for some reason, not. I mean, they're holding up. I guess we got some wicks. That might be our only hedge at the moment. What's cool about all of this is if we do enter a recessionary situation, we'll get to see for the first time since inception if Bitcoin does truly hold up against those market conditions, because that is what Satoshi created Bitcoin for, was to be anti-government control, anti-bailout, anti-manipulation by banks. So it will be cool to see if that actually plays out in Satoshi's favor. Let's get to the news segment. We got 7 votes on the current poll. Let me flip that, actually. Poll is ending. Again, anyone new in the chat, if you can guess where I am, you win $10. I will reveal at the end of the stream where I am. If nobody's able to guess it, it is the hint is in the title and the description. It is topical. I asked you guys, with the current private credit situation worsening, will we see a repeat of 2008? 43% of you guys said no, government won't let it happen. 29% said yes, it's unavoidable at this point. 29% said no, that's why we're at war right now. And 0% said yes, this is all part of the plan. I do kind of like the part of the plan idea. I'm surprised nobody picked that. That's probably my favorite one. Because what if this is part of the plan to like collapse everything? And then they're like, oh, we have to go to Bitcoin. You never know, man. You never know. All right, next poll. This one is going to be very, very important. Best road trip vehicle. Out of this list, station wagon / big SUV. Gas, do not, like, you're completely ignoring gas prices. Gas prices are not relevant at all whatsoever in this poll. Best road trip vehicle. You got station wagon / big SUV, RV camper, pickup truck with a camper, pull behind specifically with a 5th wheel, or a limo, sedan, or Hummer. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. What is the best road trip vehicle on the list? Again, gas prices are completely irrelevant for the poll. You have unlimited gas money. You got station wagon / big SUV, RV camper, pickup truck with a camper, pull behind camper, or a limo, sedan, or Hummer, your choice. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate you guys for joining me. Flight fan said bingo. Must be nice to have 6 figures in stables waiting for the right coins to strike. What is the private credit situation? Haven't seen that, and not Bitcoin, but stable coins. Okay, so the private credit situation is this. JP Morgan forced to mark down loans and has decided to reduce lending to private credit groups. Blue Owl, Blackstone, BlackRock, and now JP Morgan. There are cracks in private credit that are slowly accumulating. And this is what basically started happening that kind of spurred on the 2008 great financial crisis. So there's more details about this later on in the news segment, so stick with me. Whale Insider posted, Goldman Sachs says there's potential for an extreme stock rally. There's definitely two sides of the it's a double-edged sword right now. We've got cracks in private credit. We've got big players calling for extreme stock rallies. Here's the issue that I have. We've been seeing every single day there's some new record of retail buying the dip on XYZ, ABC, what have you. They're like, retail's buying the dip in record numbers. And every time I see that, I have to think to myself, are we entering another 2008 situation? Retail is never, ever, 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 ever on the right side of things. Ever. Retail can be like piling in to like a bull market, but retail is never going to lead. And there's more institutional money exiting than entering. Retail, like for record retail numbers, there's like 7 times more institutional numbers leaving. So that's my biggest concern right now. Franklin Templeton launches an ETF that has ADA listed as a second asset after Bitcoin. Easy peasy, the future of crypto, simplified and streamlined exposure to top digital assets without the hassle of investing directly in the tokens. Bitcoin, Cardano, Doge, Ethereum, Solana, Stellar, and XRP. I like this. This is a good list. I'm a fan. And you know what's funny is if you showed this to somebody who experienced last bull market, they would be like, that list is all Dino coins except for BTC. So Franklin Templeton kind of knows what they're doing. I think they have a lot more money than I do. Binance sues Wall Street Journal for defamation. This is what cracks me up. Binance is suing them, but CZ is not the CEO of Binance. Isn't that true? I thought that he gave it to Richard Tang or whatever when he stepped away. It kind of makes you think. A little sus. U.S. inflation remains at 2.4%. We got inflation numbers today. There's more details on that later on as well. Iran is exporting more oil through the Strait of Hormuz than before the war. What's really funny is, like, they're probably not. There's probably just more ships being like, can we switch our flag to the Iranian flag? And Iran is like, yeah, that's fine. HQZ said, I think everyone is just crypto fatigued. We've been through too much. We have. Oh, I truly believe the next wave will be all new people. I think like maybe if we're lucky, there will be like between like 2 and 5% of the 2021 crowd remaining. I think the other 95 to 98% of retail will be completely new people next time around. President Trump says oil companies should use the Strait of Hormuz. Earlier today, Iran struck a Thai ship attempting to pass through it. That is pretty damn terrifying, I'm not gonna lie. President Trump prepares to invoke Cold War-era powers to boost oil production off the Southern California coast, according to Bloomberg. $3.5 trillion Goldman Sachs says stocks could see an extreme rally. Very cool. U.S. to release 172 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. MasterCard launches program to connect crypto blockchain payments with global banking, partnering with 85 plus companies, including Circle, Paxos, Ripple, PayPal, Gemini, and Binance. Very cool. I do prefer MasterCard. They just have better branding, in my opinion. Not a Visa guy. I was very upset when I learned that Visa has more market share than MasterCard. I was like, what? MasterCard has way better commercials. Marco Rubio is now leading for presidential election winner 2028, according to Polymarket. Or no, I'm sorry, he's not leading. That's not true. He's growing. He is not leading. Interesting. Next, stablecoin mint 1 minute ago. 1 billion USDT issued on Tron by Tether. That was 4 hours ago. Very cool. 1 minute ago. That was 9 hours ago. Another 250 million Circle issued on Solana. Rolling week 2.88 billion. Rolling month 8.75 billion. Okay, Kobe letter. This is where we get into the meat and potatoes of the news segment. The IEA has proposed the largest release of oil reserves in history, exceeding the 182 million barrel record set in 2022 per Wall Street Journal. Details include the proposal was circulated at an emergency meeting today. Countries are expected to decide on the proposal Wednesday. This was posted yesterday. Today's Wednesday, so they did decide. The proposal will be adopted if none objects, but when one country's protest could delay the plan, officials said. IEA members currently hold 1.2 billion barrels in crude oil reserves. Oil prices are still up 60% since December. What's going on, Saeed? Happy Wednesday, my friend. Thursday for you. Good morning as well. Chinese investors are buying Hong Kong stocks at record pace. Investors from mainland China purchased a record 4.8 billion of Hong Kong stocks on Monday. This surpasses the previous record of 4.6 billion set in August 2024. The surge comes just days after a record daily sale of minus 3.6 billion last week, marking one of the sharpest reversals in history. As a result, total purchases are up to 24.1 billion year to date, 60% higher than for the same period in 2025. Risk appetite for Hong Kong stocks is through the roof. Tom Selleck Scott said, "Good, I want some fresh, regarded blood in the market to dump on. And yeah, all my friends who were in crypto last cycle, I'm the only one left." HQZ said our next president should be another old person. Right. It's probably going to be. Saeed said, "Hi, sir. How you doing, Saeed?" The Cruise said, "Sup, JJ? What's going on, The Cruise? Guys, don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate you guys for being here. And let us know your opinion on the poll in the chat. We got 5 votes so far. Best road trip vehicle. And in the poll, gas prices are non-applicable. Imagine you have infinite money for gas. You have unlimited gas money. What is your best road trip vehicle? Oh, should not be. Oh, I thought you were saying it's probably going to be an old person, because that's what I assumed. All right. Iran announces. Oh, hold on. The U.S. Navy has refused near daily requests from the shipping industry for military escorts through the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Navy says risk is too high. Shipping oil industry counterparts. During those briefings, U.S. Navy said it's unable to provide escorts for the time being. This is so goofy to me. I thought we had like discombobulators and stuff. Suddenly we're all like incapacitated, unable to escort anyone through this little pond of water. February CPI inflation was unchanged at 2.4%, in line with expectations of 2.4%. Core CPI inflation was 2.5%, in line with expectations of 2.5%. Core CPI inflation before the Iran war was at its lowest in 5 years. The market will now await March's data. Iran says that they are switching from reciprocal hits to continuous strikes and warns that they will drive oil prices to $200 a barrel per Reuters. Details include Iran says the U.S. will not be able to control oil prices. "We won't allow even 1 liter of oil to reach the U.S., Israel, and its partners," an Iranian military spokesperson said. "Any vessel or tanker bound to them will be a legitimate target," he adds. Iran appears to be shifting their military strategy as oil prices have declined. U.S. oil prices are nearing $90 a barrel again. This was 12 hours ago. 11 hours ago, President Trump says the war with Iran will end soon because there is practically nothing left to target, per Axios. Details include Israeli and U.S. officials say they are preparing for at least 2 more weeks of strikes in Iran. "Little this and that. Anytime I want it to end, it will end," Trump says. U.S. received intelligence that suggests Iran has started laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Officials say it's unclear, how many mines Iran has deployed. Trump war timeline puts us at the end of March. The IEA has approved releasing 400 million barrels of crude oil reserves in an effort to lower oil prices, the largest emergency release in history. Oil options markets are still pricing in upside risk. The 1-month call put skew on WTI crude oil futures is up to 30, or about 30. The highest in at least 4 years. This means investors are paying a historic premium for bets on higher oil prices over bets on lower. The call put skew also surpasses the peak levels seen during the 2022 energy crisis following the Russia-Ukraine war. This comes despite WTI crude oil prices falling 30% since Monday's peak of $119.50 per barrel. Investors remain worried about prolonged oil and gas flow disruption as the Strait of Hormuz is still effectively shut. Options traders are hedging against a long supply shock. I don't remember the statistics, but that 400 million barrels should get us by. If they're doing 20 million a day, 400 divided by 20, that's 20 days. So we just got 20 days essentially worth of oil released from the IEA, approved specifically. Let's go back to Bitcoin really quick. Yeah, see, gold and silver really aren't responding how you think they would. HQZ, The Cruise said Toyota Land Cruiser. 88 Metals Mania said don't think that affects the North American supply one bit, eh? I also seen they're dumping 400 million barrels. They say USA putting like 175,000 barrels out there. will take 120 days. Honestly, I saw one guy, a video from some senator or something, saying that we don't buy any oil from the Middle East, and that the rise in gas prices at the pump is basically just a lie. And I was like, oh damn, that actually kind of makes sense, because at the same time, it doesn't, like, the oil doesn't leave the strait and then instantly end up at the gas tank. So why would their rising price raise prices at the pump today? That doesn't make any sense. Tom Selleck Scout said, oh yeah, everyone opening the reserves up, and we have way more if we need it. Exactly. Iran is exporting more oil through the Strait of Hormuz now than before the war started. Iran's oil exports have risen by 100,000 barrels per day since the war began to 2.1 million barrels per day. China is also buying large amounts of Iranian oil, and they can just resell it to the United States if we need it, but we don't. Oil prices have become the key driver of equities. The 10-day correlation between the S&P 500 and WTI crude oil futures is down to minus 0.6, the most negative reading since October. This means that oil price surges, stocks decline, and vice versa. Historically, this pattern holds during geopolitical conflicts, with stocks negatively correlated with oil in 6 out of the last 8 major events. The longer a conflict lasts, the higher oil prices rise, the deeper the equity drawdown. The worst S&P 500 drawdowns were 19.3% during the 2011 Libyan Revolution and 15.9% during the 1990 Gulf War. This comes as oil prices rallied as much as 36% in 2011 and 130% in 1990. Oil is the single most important asset to watch right now. I thought, wasn't Elon Musk going to fix that? What the hell happened, Elon? North America will never run out of oil. USA, Canada, Mexico. Oh yeah, I think that the whole North American region is for sure good to go. That's why it's so funny to me that the stock market's just like, oh no. But I mean, I guess it makes sense because all these companies get stuff from like foreign entities, and there you are. Anyone that was not here earlier, if you can guess where I am, you win $10. Just guess in the chat. It is topical. The hints are in the title and in the description. All right. The FBI, this was the craziest news I saw today. The FBI has warned police departments in California that Iran could launch a retaliatory attack at the U.S. West Coast using drones, per ABC News. Details include the alert said that the FBI recently acquired information of a potential surprise attack. Iran aspired to do this using unmanned aerial vehicles from an unidentified vessel off the coast. Targets are unspecified but expected to be in California. A spokeswoman for the FBI office in LA declined to comment. Oil prices are now up over 6% today. That's pretty crazy. That was the craziest I've seen. Bearish bets on the U.S. stocks by hedge funds are rising. Hedge fund short positions in U.S. macro products, including index futures and ETFs, are up to 11% of total U.S. exposure, the highest since the 2022 bear market. This percentage has risen 4 points since September 2024. Over the last 5 years, short exposure has been higher only 7% of the time. Furthermore, leverage among hedge funds is near an all-time high, primarily driven by continued shorting and hedging through index futures and ETFs. The risk of a short squeeze is rising. See, they do that reverse psychology right at the end. They're like, the hedgies, the people with a lot of money, they're shorting right now, but there might be a short squeeze. So you, Mr. Retail, who's reading this on Twitter, you should probably go buy some stocks. It's crazy to me. It's crazy how much shit there is out there. HQZ said, are you in the Federal Reserve? I am not in the Federal Reserve. That is a good guess, though. Iran announces their requirements for a potential ceasefire with the U.S. and Israel. Requirements include recognizing Iran's legitimate rights. Iran receives a payment of reparations, firm international guarantees against future aggression. I thought that was pretty cute. Breaking. President Trump is preparing to invoke Cold War-era powers to renew oil production off the Southern California coast, per Bloomberg. Trump is set to invoke the Defense Production Act to preempt state laws and allow stable offshore crop to restart oil production in California. Very cool. 88 Metals Mania said new private hidden underground shack. No. Flight fan said, I wonder if the bank run on BlackRock are investors upset of Jane Street's use of ETFs. Probably not. They probably don't give a crap. Apparently there's like record number of people taking out what is it called? I forget, like welfare payments or something from their 401ks. I forget the term. There's a certain term for it. I really want to remember what that is. I can't remember the word. Okay. President Trump says the U.S. will release the Strategic Petroleum Reserve a little bit. Qatar's liquefied natural gas exports are collapsing. The 10-day moving average of Qatar LNG exports is down to just 33 tons, the lowest since the 2008 financial crisis. Very topical. This marks a 90% drop since February and is 85% below the average seen over the last 10 years. This comes as the world's largest LNG export facility at Ras Laffan has not shipped a cargo over the last 5 days, the longest streak in data going back to 2008. Qatar is the world's second largest LNG supplier, responsible for about 20% of global deliveries, with most exports headed to Asia. Asian importers are now rushing to secure alternative sources or cutting supply to end users, including fertilizer, plants, and industrial consumers. Global energy flows are under historic pressure. Yes, thank you, Tom Selleck. Hardship withdrawals. That's what it's called. Record hardship withdrawals, which I think is in the news segment today. This is, I think, one of the other scariest things I've seen. Fertilizer plants. If we can't get, like, nobody has fertilizer stocked up, that's going to be a big problem in the spring, which is happening, oh yeah, right now. Literally right now. People need to plant their plants. Farmers need to put stuff in the ground. And for whatever reason, we're overly reliant on fertilizer. God forbid we actually farm like we did 150 years ago. 88 Metals Mania said, and this is what makes Canada's dirty oil so great. It's called stability. Ooh, I like it. What about Alaska? Alaska's got a little bit of oil. I'm going to move to Alaska so I can get some of them oil dividends. Okay. Breaking. U.S. oil prices rise above $92 a barrel, now up over $10 a barrel in 9 hours. That was 2 hours ago. It's getting spooky. Wow, hardship withdrawal is very telling. Damn. Yeah. People taking money out, dude. Nobody has any money. The U.S. announces it will release 172 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Oil prices are still pushing higher after the news. U.S. Trade Representative Greer says the EU has done approximately 0% of what they agreed to do in the U.S.-EU trade deal. It appears trade tensions between the U.S. and EU are rising again behind the scenes. That's crazy. Yeah, just like talk about throwing fuel on the fire. We're like at war, and the European Union is like, we're just not gonna send that money, right? I don't feel like paying that. Oh yeah, we're not gonna do all those. We're not gonna buy all that stuff either. I just don't feel like it. That's so shady. All right, Truflation posted official CPI 2.4%, in line with our forecast and market consensus official core CPI 2.5% as expected. Meanwhile, the real-time price data paints a slightly different picture. Today, Truflation CPI is 1.08% below the 2% target since December 2025. Today's Truflation core CPI is 1.06%. Our data team uses Truflation data to correctly predict the official CPI numbers. However, our index differs from the BLS index, despite both being year-over-year CPI rates. We purposefully introduced multiple improvements to the traditional BLS methodology, such as more accurate and up-to-date weighing from 2025 instead of 2024, different subcategory distribution, more current and price-based rent index and homeowner costs, usage of high-quality data providers, and real price transaction data, which we assess and test frequently and meticulously. We'll be sharing more about our data partner scoring methodologies in the near future to explain why we use certain data and why we sometimes add new or update existing providers. Stay tuned. I actually prefer trueflation, just because we've seen how frequently any like official government data gets revised going back 13 or more months. Blows my mind that that's okay. If I screwed up my job like for 12 months straight, I would be fired, and I probably would be sued by my employer or something. I cannot imagine doing the job incorrectly for 12 months, a full year. You're just like, oh yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I just wrote down a number. That's crazy. Anyways, Revolut is set to secure a full UK banking license after a 4-year wait. That's pretty cool. Good for them. ETF flows, Bitcoin and ETH spot ETF saw net inflow on March 10th, while XRP ETF saw net outflows. Pretty crazy. Bitcoin 250 million, ETH 12 million, XRP minus 3.8 million. $71.5 trillion JP Morgan has marked down some private credit loans to software firms as credit risks grow. Software as a service, man. Telling you. It's getting squeezed pretty hard. Nvidia invests $2 billion in Nebius Group to build a hyperscale AI HPC data center for enterprise applications. Very cool. Elon Musk says the XAI Tesla project MacroHard could eventually automate the work of entire companies. That's actually kind of cool. A temporary Oracle failure on Aave protocol led to roughly $26 million in WST ETH liquidations on March 10th. These Oracle failures, man, I'm telling you, the Oracle failures and the stablecoin depegging is like the biggest Achilles heel in crypto. The stablecoin depegging, ETH or Athena USD, whatever it's called, is what caused October 10th situation allegedly. And then Aave is just accidentally, casually liquidating $26 million of their users with another Oracle situation. It's out of control, man. I understand decentralization, but that also means no single point of failure. That was a single point of failure problem that could have been avoided entirely. Trump prepares new Section 301 trade investigations that could lead to fresh tariffs on multiple countries. FDIC Chair Travis Hill says stablecoins under the Genius Act will not qualify for pass-through deposit insurance. Polygon recorded $493 million in stablecoin transactions in February, marking a new all-time high. That's actually huge. Good for Polygon. Solana stablecoin transfers jumped from $306 billion to $972 billion in 1 year, marking 3.2x growth. That is also pretty epic. Anthropic launches the Anthropic Institute to address major societal challenges posed by powerful AI. Ripple is buying back $750 million in shares from early investors at a $50 billion valuation per Bloomberg. Pretty cool. Binance US appoints Stephen Gregory as CEO, succeeding interim chief Norman Reed. I feel bad for Binance US. They have like little to no volume. Mark Chadwick posted, things are getting crazy in crypto. MasterCard just announced a partner program with 85 plus crypto companies, financial institutions, and payment providers to collaborate on real-world blockchain applications. Most people don't understand the ground is shifting beneath their feet. This is about how money moves globally. Cross-border remittances, business payments, settlement infrastructure, real-world asset transfers. Over just the past week, we've also seen Nasdaq partnering with Kraken to enable 24/7 trading of tokenized stocks, Kraken gaining access to Federal Reserve payment rails, Fed, FDIC, and OCC confirming tokenized securities receive the same capital treatment as traditional assets, Treasury acknowledging legitimate uses for privacy tools on public blockchains. These are the biggest names, the biggest organizations of traditional finance, all signaling a monumental shift. This is clarity. Trillions are moving on chain. Pretty damn cool. 88 Metal said, LOL. Same old news for years, eh? For what? Okay. Bitcoin Magazine posted this cool Satoshi quote. Bitwise, it might Let me start over. Pretend I never started to read that. Bitcoin is a self-fulfilling prophecy from Bitcoin Magazine. It might make sense just to get some in case it catches on. Satoshi Nakamoto. I don't know why that was so hard for me to read. It's a cool quote though. I like these I don't know, I like the simple ads, man. That's eye-catching. It really is. If the altcoin you are holding don't have charts that look like this, sell them and buy Hyperliquid. 88 Metals Mania said crypto always partnerships that go nowhere and does nothing for price. Yeah. Well, so this is what I've been saying. This is my biggest concern is with the tokenization and stuff like that. Let me just really quick. If you guys want to be a degenerate gambler and use betting markets, sign up for Kalshi with my link in the description, and we will both receive $25 in non-withdrawable site credit when you deposit and trade with $25 or more. It is a gambling site though, so treat it as such. Don't get liquidated, or don't you lose your life savings. I'm not a financial advisor. With adoption happening, it's a lot easier for a bank or a big institution, hedge fund, whatever, to just make their own blockchain. It's not hard. And then they remove the liability of the third party. And what utility does it even serve? That's what I mean. Stablecoins are going to spearhead adoption. And then crypto is either, like, as a whole, is either going to be left behind. It's going to be maybe viewed in less of a bad light with adoption, but I don't think that there's going to be a one-to-one direct correlation. I don't think hedge funds coming in is going to equal crypto pumping. I think hedge funds coming in is going to equal people viewing crypto less as a scam, and then eventually it might pump because people are going to show back up and be like, well, I guess if BlackRock is working in blockchain, then not all of crypto is a scam. And then people might start to look at like some of the Dino coins, because anything from this point forward that institutions do is probably going to be completely disconnected from the legacy blockchain system. It's all going to be private chains. Why would they want people to see their business? That too. And why would I come in and do anything on Solana or Ethereum or SWI or Cardano and then risk something happening with those chains because I don't like know the intimate inner workings, and then something goes down and then a bunch of millions of people lose money, and my boss comes to me and says, why the F didn't you make sure that didn't happen? And my answer is going to be, oh, well, we looked at creating our own, and we looked at the existing chains, and the existing chains just seemed good enough, so we said, why not? That's a stupid, shitty excuse. It's a lot easier to be like, well, if we take a week and we hire the right guy, we can just make our own blockchain. Copy, paste. It's really easy. Do that. That's probably what they're going to end up doing. Crypto fear and greed on Cointelegraph, not CoinMarketCap. Yeah, it is CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap, crypto fear and greed, 26 yesterday. We were at 26, so we're about the same. That's actually kind of crazy. CoinGlass, we were at 19. I forget what we were at yesterday. I think we're slightly less afraid than we were yesterday. And then the stock market fear and greed is at 27. Top 10 looks the same. XRP and BNB is still kind of duking it out. And Solana, still number 7. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. We're trying to reach 2,000 subscribers at some point in the future. Let me see. HQZ said these partnerships are dudes flying to tropical locations to party on your dime. 88 Metals Mania said, of course, it's all going to be private chains. Well, people said that when BlackRock got Bitcoin ETFs, going to bring people to other tokens because the BlackRock approval. Might have happened, not sure if that did. If it did, they got wrecked. Okay, so here's what I think happened. I think that did happen, and we saw a few chains pump. With Solana hit a new all-time high, Ethereum hit a new all-time high, but barely, but they did. They got a little bull market action. SWI did really good. Like a handful of chains did really, really well. Bitcoin, though, most of the money went to Bitcoin. Bitcoin broke its all-time high before the halving, which has never happened before. It went up to $126,000. It lingered there for a little bit. It hit like 3 highs. We went up, pulled back, up, pulled back, up, pulled back. 3 highs. And now it's like gently pulling back. It's happening fast, but it's still pretty tame compared to previous pullbacks. So I do think that the ETFs did spur this like monstrous wave of liquidity. I think that there's a broader liquidity crunch, and we're lucky to have experienced what we did. If there was no liquidity crunch, Bitcoin would probably have reached like maybe 200K. I have no idea. But clearly, retail is struggling for money right now. And I think retail was a big proponent in 2021. But I think that had a lot to do with the liquidity injections, with quantitative easing and the stimmies and all this stuff. Liquidity injections from the pandemic. Flight fan said, I like how you think they're smart. Who? Aren't we point to war just to fix this F up of a financial system? That's what that answer was for in the poll, actually. It's very similar, because think about what happened in 2001. There was like a bunch of missing money, and they were like, oh my gosh, 9/11. And then in 2019 again, they're like, oh my gosh, a global pandemic. We have to print a bunch of money. Oh no, we have to print a bunch of money because people are getting sick. And now they're like, we're suddenly at war. Before they were like, there's no. And then they're like, wait a minute, we have to bomb Iran right now. And then they did. And now, well, like, all of this stuff is starting to happen just as private credit's starting to blow up. It definitely seems like the war is a good distraction. I'm just saying. Paycheck protection program loans, that too, yeah. I don't know why. We should just print money, man. Money's fake anyways. Mr. Roberts said, hey JJ, sup all nut tuggers. What's going on, Mr. Roberts? Cheers, my friend. Happy Wednesday. Let us know your opinion in the poll, Mr. Roberts. Best road trip vehicle. Gas money does not apply. You have infinite gas money. What is your best road trip vehicle? Out of the list provided, you got station wagon, big SUV, RV camper, pickup truck with a pull-behind camper, or a limo, sedan, or a Hummer, your choice. Flight fan said, it's every 10 years. You can trace it back to 91. 88 Metals Mania said, well, it probably benefits Israel more than a lot of others, including USA, in my opinion. Probably. Okay. Wolf of All Streets on March 6th pointed out retail stopped talking about altcoins. Historically, that's when smart money starts accumulating. I believe it. I really do. The largest release of strategic oil reserves in history is being prepared by the International Energy Act. Very cool. Venezuela's stock market hits a new all-time high. Congratulations, Venezuela. What's an RV camper? Like a motorhome? Yes. Yeah, RV camper. So you have like a fifth wheel, which is a pull-behind camper, and then a RV camper, recreational vehicle camper. It's just like a camper that you drive. The Toyota campers are so sick, dude. I want one of those little guys so bad. Blue Owl Capital taking a big fat dumperino. No surprise there. Oh, again, anyone that was not here earlier, if you can guess where I am right now, you win $10. Let me know in the chat. It is topical. The hint is in the title. The hint is in the description. Where am I? Where am I? I don't think you could see. Okay, that'd be really funny if the name was somewhere. Can you? You might be able to. That'd be really funny. Hang on. Okay, no. I thought maybe I was like, what if the name was right here? Okay. Yeah, anyone can guess that. $10. They still have to refill the reserves they are using. That's my thought. Why don't we have more? Like, it seems like a really easy thing to do is just have more. Why are we using so much, dude? We need to chill. We need to chill out. This is a wake-up call. Nike on track for its 9th consecutive red day, its longest losing streak since September 2023. U.S. Treasury projected to buy back another $4 billion of their own debt, making a total of $19 billion this week, the largest weekly buyback in history. Guys, this is quantitative easing without calling it quantitative easing. I'm just saying. Private credit, another one. $33 billion Cliffwater Private Credit Fund limits redemptions to 7%, half of what came in. Blue Owl, Blackstone, BlackRock, JP Morgan, Cliffwater. Who's next? You decide. Anybody watch Epic Rap Battles of History? Home sellers now outnumber buyers by more than 600,000, largest gap ever recorded. Dang. We got some confessions for fun. Mr. Robert said, I voted RV. I once took a Volkswagen van from Banff to Ontario with a couple gals and a few pounds of mushrooms. Hated it. The van was sketchy AF. Oh, dang. I love me a good Volkswagen bus, though. That sucks. That sucks that you hated it. Okay. Confessions. Haven't told anyone this, but I invested a huge chunk of my savings into crypto, mainly alts, probably down 80%, and really don't know what to do anymore. Had so much conviction in the particular coins I bought, I'll just have to liquidate all my funds, take the loss, and invest in something else. I wanted to do this about 4 to 6 months ago, but chose not to, as I thought the market would bounce back. Those that have manipulated this market have done more damage to the sector and for adoption that I don't think there will be any trust whatsoever from people ever again. Damn. 88 Metals Mania said it's funny. In 2020, 2021, they were saying no more oil by 2035. Now they are taking over countries for it 5 years later. Isn't that funny? Tom Selkfield said, I'm pretty sure that's the Sallow building, which is where Apollo is. Seriously, it's not. Let me see. Sallow building. I do not believe so. Hang on. I'm reading. Solo? SOLOW? I think you might have it. You might have it. Pretty sure that's this. If Sallow and Solo are the same thing, Apollo is APALLO. Okay, I'm not seeing any direct confirmation, so I'm gonna say no. I don't think that it's in the same building. I might have to look into it. I'm gonna need the name of where I am specifically. You might have it. I have to look into it a little bit more. I'm not seeing a direct confirmation yet, though. All right, next confessions. I spent $46,000 buying INJ on 1st April 2024, 4 days before my birthday at $37. Today it's worth less than $5K. I would have doubled my money by now if I'd invested in my physical business. Guys, this is why diversity is important. Make sure you diversify. I'm not a financial advisor, though, so don't listen to me. I hate that after almost 5 years in this space, I've had multiple shots to go from 0 to 1 and still couldn't fully lock it in. The frustrating part is I actually see what's wrong. It's not just mindset or habits. It feels deeper than that. How I process info, how I execute, how I handle pressure, the way I'm wired, and until I fix that, I'll keep fumbling opportunities right in front of me. That's what scares me the most. What if by the time I finally become who I need to be, the opportunities just aren't there anymore? There's always going to be more opportunities. This year especially feels rough. The cycle sucks, but honestly, screw the cycle. Sometimes I feel like I just suck at this. But weirdly, I'm still optimistic. Still believe I'll figure it out. There's just this quiet fear in the background, like what if I wasted years of my life and it still doesn't work out? That's always a possibility. That's why you got to diversify everything, every single thing. It is not Blue Owl. No. Blue Owl and Apollo. Okay, I need to figure. Like I said, I'm looking for a specific answer. It might be that if it is the same building. I mean, Apollo's logo was in the background of this. If it's the same building that I'm that I'm in, then you will win. But before I verify that, if somebody else says the right answer, then they'll get it. Blockchain Brew said, JJ, what's going on, Blockchain Brew? Next, we got just a sick car. 1947 Cadillac Series 62 Sedanette Fastback. It's a pretty sexy car, not gonna lie. And last but not least, Dow Jones Industrial Average Futures fall 500 points as U.S. oil prices rise above 94 a barrel. Let's go check Kobe SE letter, see if there's any updates. We do got a couple of updates. Our most frequent question right now, President Trump. So, well, there's a long one. President Trump said the war is ending very soon, and the IEA and the U.S. are releasing 572 million barrels of oil reserves. So why are oil prices nearing $100 a barrel again? In the lead up to Sunday night's historic $30 rally in oil prices to $120 a barrel, uncertainty was at record highs. The reason behind this rally was largely that President Trump was not signaling how long the Iran war would last. Since then, the only factor that has changed is that President Trump has said the war will be over pretty quickly. However, this also implies that military action will likely continue until at least the end of March. Meanwhile, as Iran calls for oil prices to rise toward $200 a barrel, storage is filling up in Gulf countries and nearing 20 million barrels of daily supply remain off the market. On top of this, restarting oil production in the Gulf will not be simple. The path to restoring full output is now expected to take months. At its core, the only material difference between now and Monday is President Trump's reassurance that the war will not last forever. We expect more comments like this from Trump administration as oil prices near $100 a barrel. This would mirror the strategy used during the trade war, when hints of a trade deal often emerged as market volatility reached unsustainable levels. Markets are a product of sentiment and expectations. Tom Sellerscote said KKR, Highland Capital Management. I'm just going to name all the ones in that building, LOL. Pac-Man579 said China. 88 Metals Mania said, did he win or not? What the F? I have to check. I'm not gonna interrupt the news segment. Because it's not if he gives me the right answer, then I will say yes. But right now I just have to confirm if it's the same building. It's pretty vague. Like, he could have said New York City, and I would have been like, whoa! It's kind of the same thing. Breaking. U.S. officials say Iran has laid mines in the Strait of Hormuz, per Wall Street Journal. Just yesterday, the U.S. said there was no indication that Iran was laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. The mines are being described as the most destructive weapons that the U.S. Navy has faced. Iraq has halted operations at its oil ports after 2 oil tankers were targeted while in the loading area of a port. I'm not gonna lie, is Iran not just like painting themselves as a target for all of these countries? What the hell did Iraq do? You know? I don't think that they did anything to deserve that. That's kind of crazy. Alright, I'm swapping to the regular glasses so that I can research this damn building for Tom Selleck's goat. Let me go really quick. I guess I'll go back to Bitcoin, gold. I'm looking for a potential pop on silver. All right. All right, hang on. All right, you said Salo building? No, it is not the same building. Different address, completely different building. All right, we've confirmed that Tom Selleck's goat did not win. It is a different building. I have 100% confirmation. So the prize is still available. Anyone that can guess where I am right now. Where am I? All right. Let's see. I'm going to go to bookmarks. I'm going to go back down to... I guess we'll see if Cointelegraph has anything new. And then I want to check Watcher Guru as well. Anything new at all? Nothing new here. Cointelegraph. Basement? No, I am not in a basement. Although, after what happened, you could call it a basement. Oh yeah, the hint. The hint is that the title and the description are the hint of where I am. It is incredibly topical to the subject. Cheers, guys. Happy Wednesday. All right. Let's see. So far, we got 10 votes. 10 votes on the poll. I'm going to end it. It's a nice, happy split. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. Best road trip vehicle. RV camper, 60%. Followed by station wagon, big SUV at 20. Tied with pickup truck with a camper at 20. 0% said limo. Really? Waterfly said, what happened? What do you mean, what happened? There's some spooky stuff going on in private credit, is what happened. Let me show you. We've got, I think there was one from bar chart right here. Private credit, another one. $33 billion Cliffwater private credit fund limits redemptions to 7%, half of what came in. Blue Owl, Blackstone, BlackRock, JP Morgan, Cliffwater. Who's next? So, Waterfly, if you have a guess, all of the stuff that's happening, the title of the stream, which is Private Credit's Crack, Why Satoshi Created Bitcoin, Warning for Stocks and Gold, as well as the description, is where I am. That is the hint for where I am. Flight Fan said, I was kind of picked a Batmobile, but never have on the list. I feel like Batmobile was on the list the other day. We asked, I forget, it was like what you could have, and everyone went with the DeLorean from Back to the Future because they wanted to go back and buy Bitcoin. Waterfly said private credit overblown. Anything to not talk Trump and Island directory. You are correct, Flight Fan. We got war, we got private credit. It's all part of the plan, man. It's all part of the plan. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Okay. Cointelegraph, latest poly market, weather prediction markets for Shanghai and Hong Kong. That's funny. I guess the weather prediction markets are really popular. All right, let me go down a little bit. I think we're pretty much caught up right here. SEC and CFTC sign an MOU to coordinate crypto regulation and support new product development. Very cool. U.S. Treasury is projected to buy back $4 billion of its own debt starting March 12th. I think this past week they have a ton. They bought back a ton. We're pretty much doing quantitative easing without calling it quantitative easing. $33 billion Cliffwater private credit fund capped investor redemptions at 7%, roughly half of the requests received. That's pretty crazy. The U.S. will release 172 million barrels from its strategic petroleum reserve to curb surging oil prices. Does that actually lower the price, or will this just plateau the price? Because if you think about it, they're like, well, we can get rid of it at this much money, or we can, release so much that the price goes down, but people are already willing to pay this higher price for it. So basically, everything that Trump has done since he has entered office has been undone. The stock market pump, I guess the stock market's the only thing that's like maintained some semblance of post-election price action. But oil, gas is back to just as expensive as it was when he took office. And we're back at war. Leverhouse. And after all this, I give up. No Leverhouse. What if I said it may rise price in long run? Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know why we needed to attack Iran. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not the president. I'm not in any public office. I have no idea what the hell they're doing. They're making my gas prices go up, though, so I'm a little bit peeved. It's a Band-Aid. It 100% is a Band-Aid. I think that's it, man. I think that's it. Let's talk to Grok really quick, because Grok told us not to worry about anything the other day. Private credits issues are causing 2008 level concerns on top of oil prices. being influenced by the lack of oil going through the Strait of Hormuz, which is a direct result of the seemingly endless war with Iran. What is happening? It seems like we're about to head into another 2008 financial crisis. Do you think that's possible? What are your thoughts? All right, Mr. Roberts said, JJ, did you buy a few months of grok? I have not taken the dive yet. Not yet. But I am prepared. 88 Metals Mania said, we know why Israel cough cough. Fight Fan said, the gas prices here are so high. Ask me how I got to work. That's a good one. That was a good one. I still have not filled up. I put in, so I didn't fill up before. I mentioned that. Gas prices went up a little bit. I put like $10 in. And I was like, man, I don't want to fill up. And I still haven't filled up. They've plateaued. They're about the same. But I had to put $10 in again today. So far, I've so far had to purchase this expensive gas. I'm a little peeved. But I have some like gas points that I can deploy at Kroger to get like $1 off. I've been saving them for this exact moment. HQZ said, funeral home, church, not yet. Yeah, anyone that hasn't been here, if you can guess where I am, you win $10. It's topical. It has to do with private credit cracks, why Satoshi created Bitcoin, shadow banking system, the title and the description. All right, $69,770.56. Yeah, dude, market's indecisive. All right, what's happening right now as of mid-March 2026? A genuine combination of two major stresses, escalating private credit market jitters that have been building for months, and a fresh oil... Don't say it's been building for months. You said like last week that there was nothing to worry about. And fresh oil supply shock from ongoing U.S.-Israel war with Iran. Bathroom? No. These are real risks. Not the gift and gas I'm laughing at $10 with. Oh, yeah, okay. To my defense, I knew that that's what you were laughing at. To my defense, my van is tiny. I drive a little Chevy City Express, which is shaped like a hamster. And so, not only is the gas mileage amazing, but the tank is like the size of... It's like I might as well just have like a 1-gallon tank on the van. I can hardly put gas in. It's pretty funny. $20 usually gets me through the whole week, which is kind of a brag. The tires are 15 inches though, so it also looks like I'm driving around a little Tykes mobile. Okay. The Iran war, Strait of Hormuz disruption. I'm not going to read these because they're not really... I guess I'll read the private credit part. Separately, but now overlapping, the $2 to $3 trillion private credit sector, non-bank lending that exploded after 2008 to fill gaps left by tighter bank regulations, has been flashing warning signs since late 2025, early 2026. Key issues: heavy exposure to software as a service companies vulnerable to AI disruption, over-optimistic valuations during low-rate years, and rising defaults, restructurings, borrowers like Tricolor and First Brands. The flashpoint was Blue Owl Capital, a major player, halting redemptions in a retail fund in February and selling assets amid withdrawal requests, described by some, including Mohammed Al-Arian, as a canary in the coal mine. Short interest in Blue Owl hit records. Other funds saw redemption surges in big names like Jamie Dimon and Jeff Gundlach have flagged dumb, risky lending and echoes of pre-2008 excesses. The market has grown fivefold since 2008, with some bank exposure, but it's opaque and illiquid, making liquidity crunches painful. 88 Metals Mania said, why doesn't Grok read it out to us in a nice voice? I think that's an option, or Elon mentioned it as an option. I don't know if they've deployed it yet. Maybe it's just testnet. I was excited about that too. What's wrong with my voice though? Are you in Japan? I am not in Japan. I'm not in Japan. It is pretty though. Is that an orchid? Maybe that's why you said Japan. Very pretty room. It is, like I said, it's topical to the title and the description. Hints in the title and description. If you can guess where I am, you win $10. And if I can figure out a way to do this every day, I will, because this is fun. No, no offense, it's too late, man. It's too late. Flight fan said, "It's okay, JJ. Like your car, my wife has a small bladder, and she's been around the block a few times." Damn. Okay. Every time I call for tires on my van, it's my work van. Every time I call for tires, I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, "This is for a trailer?" And I'm like, "No." It's for a Chevy City Express. Which, by the way, if you guys didn't know, the Chevy City Express, on the sticker on the inside too, it literally says manufactured by Nissan Motor Company for Chevrolet. That's freaking hilarious. It's not even a Chevy. It's a Nissan NV200 with a Chevy bow on the front. Cash Oak said, "Looks like Cape Cod condo lobby, LOL, or a courthouse." It is neither of those. Although I believe a courthouse was involved after this whole unfolding. Remember, the title and the description are topical. If you can guess where I am, you win $10. Title and description are your hints. Private credit market strains. Okay, we read all of that. Yeah, if Jamie Dimon ends up being right and we get a 2000, I'm just the most pissed off I'll be is that Jamie Dimon was right, because I don't like that guy. He looks like a creepy weirdo. He looks like he smells people. Are we heading into another 2008 style financial crisis? What if I said you got married? No. Tom Scout said, "Do not do this every day. You will make me crazy." I like it. Maybe I'll do it like a weekly thing. Weekly or monthly. I don't know. Okay. The combo oil shock private credit stress has raised meltdown odds in some forecasts. One strategist hiked recession meltdown probability to 35%, pushed stocks into volatile sessions with temporary $3 trillion wipeouts early March before partial rebounds, and fueled recession talk. Higher oil feeds inflation, which could delay Fed rate cuts and squeeze borrowers, worsening private credit pain. But a full 2008 repeat possible in a worst-case scenario, prolonged war closing Hormuz for months, plus cascading private credit defaults, triggering bank runs or credit freeze. But I don't think this is a base case or imminent. Here's why, based on the differences. See, here's my issue. Nobody wants this. So all of the information online is going to be like, "I don't think so." And that's probably what Grok is taking from. Tom Selks go, yep, Waterfly said, "Are there any dead people or animals near you?" No. Okay. Tom Sellex go, got it. It is Bear Stearns. You are correct, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, I am in Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns is gonna be fine. I should Waterfly, no dead people or animals, unless you count Jim Cramer as an animal, because he is ruthless. He is probably definitely near this location. It is Bear Stearns. Congratulations, Tom Sellex Goat. Send me a DM in Discord. It is 383 Madison Avenue. You are correct. Send me a DM in Discord, and I'll get you your prize. Preferably Solana. Could be Cardano too if you want. All right. Full blah blah blah. Cascading private credit. Okay, for months triggering bank runs or credit freeze, but I don't think this is base case or imminent. Scale and structure. 2008 was rooted in a massive, highly leveraged housing bubble packaged into systemic derivatives that infected global banks. Private credit today is large but smaller relative to the economy, less interconnected with core banking. That's thanks to post-2008 rules like Dodd-Frank and not the same too big to fail web. Many analysts explicitly say the systemic risk isn't at 2008 subprime levels. Tom Scott said, "Thank God I don't want your money. I just have to solve puzzles." Well, it's too damn bad, man. Keep the money for gas. That'll get me through half a week. I'm going to donate the money. It's going to Best Friends Animal Shelter. Mitigants. Banks are far better capitalized. The Fed has tools and has already cut rates in 2025. Strategic oil reserves are being used. The U.S. economy entered 2026 with decent growth momentum. Unemployment ticked up but isn't crisis territory. Markets have shown resilience. Stocks recovered on de escalation signals. Oil precedent. Supply shock hurts. Blah, blah, blah. Short lived. If the strait reopens, private credit could cause localized pain. My overall thoughts, these are legitimate 2008 level concerns in terms of buildup and opacity and the timing, war on top of existing credit cracks, but makes it feel precarious. Recession odds have clearly risen. Analysts put it in the 30 to 40% range for 2026. 30 to 40% is really high, but about to head into another 2008 overstates it right now. The triggers aren't identical, safeguards are stronger, and the war isn't yet a forever quagmire. Things could worsen fast if Iran sustains the blockade or private credit liquidity evaporates further, but they could also stabilize quickly. This is why diversification, avoiding over-leveraged bets, and keeping some dry powder makes sense, not panic. The universe doesn't care about our portfolios, but clear-eyed assessments does. Watch the next few weeks. Straight traffic, oil prices, blue owl-style headlines, and Fed signals. If you have specific portfolio... Okay, I'm going to ask this next question. What about employment? That seems to be getting worse, as well as hardship withdrawals from retirement accounts. It seems like nobody has money and can't find work, and people can't find work. Even jobs numbers got revised down. I feel like there's something big bubbling beneath the surface. Let's see. Tom Selleck said, perfect, I love animals, people not so much. You know what cracks me up is whenever I say anything like that, people are like, not even anything like that, I guess. There will be like a situation, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, that sucks so bad for the dog or whatever. And people are like, what do you mean for the dog? You saying you put animals above people? And I'm like, yeah. Is that really a question? People suck. Like, historically, 9 times out of 10, people suck ass. People are so awful. And again, 9 times out of 10, animals are just better in every way, shape, or form. Even the violent ones, dude. What are you doing bothering that gorilla? Leave them alone. If they want to rip you to pieces, you shouldn't have been there to be ripped apart. That's just my opinion. Dogs, too. Big dog guy. Like me some dogs. Flight fan said, this is why you're bearish. Exactly. Mr. Robert said, hell yeah, goat. LOL. Well done. Very cool. Just pretend I gave you a 10 super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Tom Selleck's Goat. I'm going to donate it to Best Friends Animal Shelter. Waterfly said, tell them to keep money for gas. We read that. I like that you got the address. The address is a little bonus. That's actually, I appreciate the address. I did have to do some deep research because apparently a similar architect or something. There was some like crossover with the buildings that you said. You said the Salo building or whatever. There's some crossover there with Bear Stearns. I think JP Morgan owns the Salo building now too. I'm like, ooh. I would never, like, would you, if you were some big bank now, would you ever buy the Bear Stearns building, the former Bear Stearns building? I would stay the hell away from that, dude. You got to demolish that thing. I would never set up shop in there. That seems like bad juju. Like, I'm not super superstitious. I believe in karma and stuff like that. I would never touch a building that, like, Bear Stearns was in or Lehman Brothers, anything like that. I'm not going anywhere near anything like that. There's anything remotely negative attached to the building, I'm like, oh, I gotta build in a different city where there's vacant land. I'm not moving into any one of these. Bitcoin 69,609.70. Damn, that's missed opportunity for 69,6969. You're picking up on real measurable cracks in the labor market, and don't butter me up, Grok. This is gross. Get out of here. Employment picture, not catastrophic yet, but clearly worsening. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, blah, blah, blah. This isn't a full collapse. Unemployment still historically low, and some of February's drop was temporary. Strikes have ended. Weather effects. Get out of here with the weather. Cracks me up, dude. The weather's my favorite. They're like, oh, the weather. People can't work because of the weather. The trend is unmistakable. Hiring has been frozen or stagnant for months. Long-term unemployment is rising, and the labor market is cooling faster than most expected heading into 2026. Analysts are now openly using words like softening and a warning that sustained weakness, higher oil prices, could tip into stagflation territory, slow growth plus rising inflation. Hardship withdrawals from retirement accounts at record levels. You don't need to tell me, I already know. Laws like Secure 2.0 have made it easier, which is why the numbers jumped, but the underlying driver is clear. Persistent inflation in groceries, housing, high interest rates pushing up debt costs, and wages not keeping pace for a big chunk of households. The nobody has money reality check. Household debt had a record 18.8 trillion. Wow! In Q4 2025, New York Fed data with credit card balances alone at 1.28 trillion, up sharply. About 29% of Americans now have more credit card debt than emergency savings. Personal savings rates have fallen. Surveys show people cutting back on basics, leaning on cards, or pulling from retirement just to cover day to day. This isn't universal. Plenty of households are doing okay, but the bottom half, and even many middle income folks, are clearly stressed. Job market softness makes it worse, harder to find or switch to better paying work. More part-time for economic reasons and fear of layoffs rising. Is something bubbling beneath the surface? Absolutely. And the timing with the Iran war, oil spike plus private credit redemptions, liquidity issue we talked about earlier amplifies it. The weak jobs data plus surging energy costs have markets pricing in higher recession odds. Some strategists now 30 to 40% plus for 2026, and complicating the Fed. They can't easily cut rates with oil-driven inflation. It's not 2008 level systemic bank failures risk yet. The banking system is stronger, and unemployment isn't spiking like then. But this combination, cooling labor plus debt stress plus external, wow, it's like eternal shock, damn. Cooling labor plus debt stress plus external shock is exactly how recessions often start. Slowly, then all at once. My take, you're right to feel uneasy. The surface numbers, low unemployment, rising 401k balances, hide real pain for a lot of people, and the revisions show the slowdown has been underway longer than advertised. If the Strait of Hormuz stays disrupted and oil stays elevated, or if private credit freezes spread, this could snowball into a proper downturn. That said, it's still early, and March jobs reports due early April, and any de-escalation in the Middle East will be huge tells. The economy has absorbed shocks before, and consumer spending has held up better than feared so far. Bottom line, this isn't panic time for most, but it's a strong reminder to shore up liquidity, avoid new debt, and not assume it'll always be fine. If your own situation involves job hunting, retirement draws, or tight budgets, you're far from alone right now. Want me to dig into any specific sector, regional differences, or what the Fed might do next? Just say the word. All right. Greg gave JJ a handy for you. Yeah, dude, that was weird. They're like, you're so smart for figuring this out. Good job. All right. Bitcoin 69,607. Yeah, I don't know. There's too many like bad things for me to really be too excited about anything specific, but it could turn around really, really quick. Like if there's any kind of ceasefire or any kind of de-escalation in the Middle East, I feel like the market will explode just on those news alone. Not to mention, where stuff's gonna shake up for sure in May because Powell's gonna be out, so the Fed's gonna completely flip. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see where we end up. As of right now, we're just in limbo, man. We are in limbo. Bitcoin is flat, just like everything else. It's just weird. We got a flat Nasdaq. Even on the weekly. Let me go to the daily. Nasdaq's completely flat since September. S&P is completely flat since October. Bitcoin is completely flat. Well, actually, that's not true. Bitcoin's pretty far down. Since the beginning of February, Bitcoin's pretty flat. But definitely in a bear market. Are we going to climb out of it anytime soon? See, this right here is just what I'm seeing. That's the exact same thing that's playing out right now. Look at that. I don't know. Are we going to get that 51.5 that I'm looking for? Again, I apologize for the for the damn chart being so messy. This right here, this little cup and handle, that's exactly what I see right here. Maybe that's a problem that's got invalidated. Maybe that one will bust to the upside. I don't know. Lunar Entity said 314.26 is when I think things get spicy. All right, I'm going to put it up. 314.26. Put it on the chart. That's in like 2 days, isn't it? What happens on that day? You think on a Saturday? That sucks. Maybe we'll plan for a decent stream that day. Lunar Entity thinks things get spicy this day. All right. Another line. The blood moon did nothing, but if we do get spicy, let's say we do get spicy there, I think that you could make that excuse that the blood moon just had a little delayed fuse, if you will. I don't know. Let's move the goalpost a little bit. All right. Lunar Entity said they've been hitting Iran on Saturdays. I think something's going to happen this time. Oh, for the Middle East stuff. I forgot that was even happening. So here's my big question. I understand that the price obviously went up already, but you'd think with a war happening and oil getting out of control, all this other stuff, private credit, shouldn't gold and silver go up even more? Spicy down or spicy up? I think spicy just is down. I think spicy is down. Think about what happens. You eat spicy food. It's like fun. You're having fun with your buddies. Like, oh my gosh, this is spicy. Oh my gosh, it's so spicy. And then later, you're in the bathroom. That's down. That is a net negative. You can have fun with the boys all you want, but the bathroom time makes up for that and then some. Definitely spicy down. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, we don't have another poll going in the chat? What? I didn't know that. That sucks. Well, good news, guys. I did diversify today, and I bought another booster pack of Pokemon cards. I'm not opening them because I am a psychopath, and I have a big pile of them on my desk. Will I open them one day? Maybe. If investing truly does die, and I end up having to become a Pokemon card channel, that is what this is. This is my failsafe. Why do I have so many? I have no idea. Every time they're available, I buy one, and I guess it's just been that long. It's kind of weird. Anyways, I suppose time to call it an evening. I got a few more things I got to do before I got to go to bed. Lunar Entity said the conflict is bad precedent for the U.S. We are #1 exporter of defense, and we won't send ships into the Strait. Weird look. That's what I've been saying. I'm like, I thought we had the discombobulator and all this advanced weaponry, and we're like, well, it's unsafe. And then the ships that are there getting blown up, and we're just like, oh, I didn't even see that going on over there. I was looking over here. Is that? Oh my gosh, that ship's on fire. Whoa. Like, what's going on? It's very strange. Very strange. We're supposed to be these big bad, like, army that can't be beat, and we won't even escort ships after saying we would escort ships. And then we're like, oh, well, there's mines now. There's mines. We can't do anything about the mines. We don't have anything for the mines. It's just all seems like BS to me, man. I don't know. I think it's all pre-planned. I'm not even going to tinfoil for that. I think it's all pre-planned bullshit. That's bad for our markets too. A lot of foreign participation in our asset markets is based on our exploring of defense, or exporting of defense. Yeah, it's bad defense if we can't defend, you know? And we're like, oh, we destroyed all their navy. And then they're like, why won't you go through the strait then? And we're like, well, it's scary. We don't want to go to the water. Scary. They got the gun and on the shore and they shoot at the boat. I don't like it. Like, what's going on here? Bonds, especially James Bonds. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna call it. I appreciate you, Lunar Entity. We're gonna have to have a longer session where we get some good insight from you again. I like it when you come in. And just the same as I like everybody that comes in. I appreciate you guys for participating in the chat, all that stuff. I'm glad RV won the road trip poll, because that was my pick for sure. As always, guys, when the market starts to do anything crazy or anything at all, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Wednesday, and good night.